Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Hey there, friends. Welcome back to Daily Dose Radio, here in the Bible Bistro, where everything is packed with protein and probiotics. Yes, sir, this is a Bible study that's good for you. This week, as I explained yesterday, we're doing part 1 of Psalm 106. Psalm 106, I think, is a reply to Psalm 105. Psalm 105, we were remembering all the great works that God had done on behalf of His people. And this week, we're going to see what forgetting all that God has done gets us. So I said last week that remembering is good soul care. We're going to see and be exhorted to that end this week. Now, yesterday we read verses 1 through 5. I want to read today verses 6 through 10, but I'm going to begin my comments by going back and picking up in verse 4. So let me read for you verses 6 through 10. We have sinned with our fathers. We have committed iniquity. We have done wickedly. Our fathers understood not thy wonders in Egypt. They remembered not the multitude of thy mercies, but provoked him at the sea, even at the Red Sea. Nevertheless he saved them for his name's sake, that he might make his mighty power to be known. He rebuked the Red Sea also, and it was dried up. So he led them through the depths as through the wilderness. And he saved them from the hand of him that hated them, and redeemed them from the hand of the enemy. Now, just go with me back to verse 4. 4, 5, and 6 comprise this little prayer that we have here in the beginning of this psalm. We begin with praise in verses 1, 2, and 3. We begin with, in verse 4, 5, and 6, this prayer, remember me, O Lord, with favor. Visit me with salvation, that I may see the good of thy chosen. I may rejoice in the gladness of thy nation. I may glory with thine inheritance. And then verse 6, we have sinned with our fathers. So it's a beautiful prayer. He's asking for favor, salvation. He's asking for things for himself that are connected to the nation, to God's people. And then he says, we have sinned. This is good repentance, and this is a good word for us. When it comes to repentance, we shouldn't think that we're the worst sinner that ever was, because, friends, there have been a lot worse that have come before us. That's for certain. We have sinned with our fathers. We have committed iniquity. We have done wickedly. Now, when he connects the sinning that he's doing and the others in the nation are doing, he connects it to the fathers. And then he tells us about their sin, beginning there in verse 7. Our fathers understood not. They remembered not, but provoked him at the sea. So we start off with how these people forgot. They didn't understand, they did not remember the multitude of his mercies, but provoked him at the sea, even at the Red Sea. Notice verse 8, nevertheless. Okay, the nevertheless here in verse 8 points us back to verse 1. He is good and his mercy endures forever. Even though they did not understand, even though they did not remember, and even though they provoked him with their sinning, yet God saved them. Why is that? Because God is merciful. He has a covenant with these people. He has a covenant that extends back to Abraham. And he made that promise to Abraham, your descendants are going to be more than the sand on the seashore. If you could count the sand grains, then you can know how many people are going to be in your family. So, nevertheless points to all of that. Nevertheless points to his goodness, his mercy, and his grace. And notice verse 8, he saved them. Notice verse 9, he led them. Also, he rebuked the Red Sea for them. He saved them again in verse 10, and he redeemed them from the hand of the enemy. And of course, now we're going to find out about that enemy there in verse 11. And of course, they're at the Red Sea, so we already know who that enemy is. It's Pharaoh and his army. So we'll see more about that tomorrow on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.